Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host Charles, and today we're sitting down with Bagsy to discuss his goal of becoming the #1 crypto Twitch streamer. So let's get into it. So I always try to get a bit of background on my guests for my audience. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you were doing before crypto?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I started out in school like most people. I was in software engineering when I started out. I pivoted halfway through because I realized that I didn't really like it. And I ended up going full time to work, and I started building a couple small businesses when I was in my young to late teens, I guess. From there, I discovered the dark web, and I love reading, so I went there, I guess, just to learn about various topics that I think are interesting that you won't always find the answers to in other places. And from there, I discovered Bitcoin. And thankfully, through one of my businesses, I had actually gotten a bit of Bitcoin along the way. So I was already kind of not pot committed, but I owned some. So it was a bit different. It wasn't like, oh, what's this mysterious Bitcoin? It's like, oh shit, I have a bit. What is this? What can I do with it? And that just brought me deeper into the rabbit's hole. And I eventually met a mentor online who kind of guided me through through different projects, what to look for, what not to look for. And eventually he disappeared. So if you're out there, Q, I appreciate you. And from that point, I guess I discovered crypto Twitter. I didn't start participating until mid 2018, and the whole Bagsy thing, I guess, started off in October 2018, so that was pretty recently. And yeah, so here I am doing what I'm doing, talking to you, my friend.
Yeah,
and
there we go.
doing this cool interview.
I really like that progression there. This whole podcast is about business owners and people who can create these crypto businesses. And it's kind of branching out a little bit more, but that's, the main focus. So you were working, and then you started a couple businesses that ended up, netting you some Bitcoin.
Yeah, two. Most of them were fails, to be honest. One of them netted me some Bitcoin, and that was actually my most successful one.
There we go. Yes.
I don't know how deep I can get into it, but I was basically selling something completely legal. However, for some reason, the dark web was an interesting place to sell it. So that's how I got my hands on some Bitcoin, and from there, just started going through Bitcoin talk threads, noticing there are hundreds, if not thousands, of cryptocurrencies to go through, and and now I'm going to conferences, interacting with you guys. It's been a real progression for me, and I can't believe I'm here right now, to be honest.
I was going to say very, very beautiful progression. I don't want to say that any one way of getting into crypto is right or wrong, but you hear so many stories about, someone who heard about it in late 2017, saw people were just making a ton of money and bought some, and then either, lost some money or cashed out real quick. You had this nice progression of business, getting paid in Bitcoin. Oh, wow, this is actually very interesting. Let me do a little bit more research, jump on Bitcoin Talk, jump on Crypto Twitter, and then kind of got immersed in the community. So I really, really love that whole progression right there.
Thanks,
and,
man.
we kind of talked about, you kind of mentioned it briefly, but you're on Twitter. I see you posting a lot of charts. You've kind of blown up over, these past 6 to 12 months, I would say. You said late 2018 is when you started. So I see a lot of charts.
I had 200 followers in October.
Yeah, it's crazy. Charts every day from you, and people started to realize that, okay, you know what you're talking about, and have started following, and you've built this following, which is awesome. So you've got the charts, you've got your, I don't know what you call it. I call it your weekly crypto roundtable.
It's a Wednesday night crypto chat.
Yeah, you've had me on there twice, and I've had a great time on there. I love that you bring on, you've had so many people on there, and everyone with their different knowledge comes on and just kind of talks, and it's very relaxed, and I really like the vibe of it, and that's when we started talking more. So you've got that, and then as of recently,
and then obviously I do my trading on my own time. I also started streaming on Twitch about a month ago. So I've been focusing some energy into that. But to go back into the whole, researching things, going through Bitcoin talk, like I'm the type of person, if ever I really get interested by something, like I'm gonna dive headfirst and I'm gonna give it what I can. Crypto isn't the first thing that's interested me over time. At some point, it was nutrition, and from there, because I was a fat ass when I was younger, so I had to figure out how to fix it, and I dove into nutrition, got certified in that at some point. For same for fitness. Everything that I've tried to fix in my life, I make sure that I put a lot of attention into it because it's important. And crypto for me is just really sparked and kept my interest, and that's a rare thing for me. I'm kind of a scatterbrain. I see something interesting and I jump for it, but I think crypto is so diverse and it has so many different alleys that I know I can always pivot to something else. And I love what it stands for. I think that's the reason why I've stayed so long and why I've found a bit of success. Not that I'm successful by any means, but there's a lot I want to do, and I think that this space that we're in right now it's going somewhere huge, and I don't know how far it's going to go, and I don't know how big it's going to get. But to you guys listening to this right now, if you have some type of skill or something that you're good at or something that you want to give to the community or offer, do it. Like start right now, start today. You never know where you're going to be at in 8 months. And mind you, like I grew everything in a bear market when there was no engagement. I got shadow banned on Twitter for close to 2 months within those 8 months. So technically that was downtime where I created another account that I got to like 5,000-6,000 followers. So like, and I'm like, and I've said this before, like I'm not a fucking genius. I'm very um, persistent, and if there's something I like, I try to keep doing it. So I guess the message I'm trying to get through is like, if you have something that you really love and you want to grow it, just give it your all and give it freely, and don't expect payment till much later.
There's just so much going on. There's this, wide umbrella that is crypto that you talked about, and for all these people who they can develop these different skills, and I feel like a lot of people bounce around a lot because there's so many things going on in crypto. But I really like what you're talking about with this, this consistency is key kind of deal, because you started with nothing and you've grown it to, I don't even know how big your following is now. It's like somewhere near 20K, I believe.
20.67.
There we go. Yeah, you just broke 20K, and that just comes from posting every single day, and really engaging.
Not only that, but also, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
No, I was gonna say it also comes from being consistent, but more importantly, being genuine. I've never sold myself as being a super duper trader, or uh, I don't lie.
There we go.
Obviously, there's a white lie from time to time, but I don't lie to my viewers. I don't lie about what I have. I don't lie about what I don't have. I just try to be as transparent as I can about what I'm offering, and it's my opinion. Like, this is all opinion. So I think that's one thing I've been good at. I've seen many people fail because they've tried to portray themselves as something they're not. And eventually the internet catches up and people are smart and they catch on, and then they're screwed, and there goes their image. All it takes is one bad tweet or one bad take to ruin what someone has built. So I'm trying to do it right, and I'm trying to do it honestly. Yeah, and I'm trying to be myself.
You really got to be careful, but I'm liking what you're touching on there. I actually had Crypto Euclid and his wife Tamara, and they came on, and that episode was titled "You Are Your Best Asset," and they just really touched on being genuine with the community, being open and honest with what you know and don't know. And I think that's such an important thing, especially in this community where, there's a bunch of smart people here. We can kind of tell when people are being genuine, when they're being fake. So yeah, completely key. But I want to get back to, this Twitch streaming that you've started. Can you just talk to us about, why you started that and what the goal is there?
Yeah, sure. So I guess it started from doing the Wednesday night crypto chat, which am doing on YouTube with Cryptunes, but I ported that to Twitch recently. But I don't know, like I realized that I loved getting different individuals on, intelligent people who know more than me about different things. I love getting them on that weekly show I do once a week. And from there, I was in bed maybe 2 months ago, and I'm like, okay, I kind of want to do this more. I like talking. I think that it's a strength. I enjoy interacting with people, and I was thinking to myself, let's give Twitch a shot. What's the worst that happens? So I set a goal for 500 followers in my first month. We hit that 3 weeks into it. Bless. And now my next goal is 5,000 in the next 49 days. So I guess technically we're at 650 now. So I got about 4,300 odd to go. So yeah, set big goals. I think that's kind of like what I want to mention. If you're gonna get into anything, whether it's Twitch or whatnot, like write your goals down, guys and girls. Because if you don't know where you're going, how are you gonna get there? So at least it doesn't have to be 5,000, 50,000. You could just at least a number that you're guiding yourself towards. You'll have different people who are going to say, oh, you have to do the 10x rule. You have to put 10 times more than you think you're going to get. Then you'll have other people that are going to say, well, you should be reasonable with how you set your goals and make them achievable. I don't know. They all work just as long as you're doing something and you have something you're going towards, and you'll find out what suits your character best.
First off, big congratulations on getting that 500 followers in that first month. That was a huge milestone right there.
Thanks. But the biggest milestone, I'm going to be the biggest on crypto Twitch in the next 342 days. So I gave myself a year's time to do that. So that's my main goal. That's the biggest goal. The 5,000 followers is just a mid goal.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to, touch on why you kind of put these goals out on Twitter, and you said, it's writing them down is super important because it allows you to put it out there, and it gives you something to attain.
Yeah, exactly. And you put it out there, and you're actually putting some skin in the game.
Yeah, you're putting your word on the line. You're saying, I'm going to get 500, I'm going to get 5,000, and then I'm going to be the biggest on Twitch for crypto streaming. So I really like that. And the only other thing I wanted to say was that, one of the big things in setting goals is starting off small and kind of building towards something big, which is exactly what you did with this. You start with 500, next goal is 5,000, and then the final goal would be to be the biggest one. Many people, they've kind of got these big grand gestures and goals that they want to attain, and they just see that as the finish line, and there's no in between for them. So it's very easy to fail when they haven't reached that goal. For you, you hit that milestone of 500, you're well on your way to 5,000. So I just wanted to stress that that's one of the big things in setting goals is to set a couple small ones along the way so that you feel this sense of accomplishment.
That's a really good point. And I know 5,000 is crazy in 2 months, but it's absolutely doable. And as long as you're stating these things, your friends are going to want to help you, at least if you have good friends, obviously. But if no one knows what you want to do and you don't make it obvious to anyone, there's going to be no benefit for them to give you a hand unless you're explicitly going out to them being like, hey, can you help share my stuff? You want to be on my podcast, this, that. Friends will want to help you get places just because, I don't know, at least for me, I want to see my friends win. So if there's something I can do, something I can share for them, I'll do it. It doesn't cost me anything. But write everything down and make sure, for me, what I do, whether it's my Twitter analytics, my Twitch, my YouTube, whatever, every week on Sunday, I take out this booklet and I track my stats. How many followers, how many tweets did I send out? What were my best tweets? What were the best times I sent them at? What were my best streams? Yada, yada, yada. You get the point. But over time, at least, I'm on my 30th week of tracking this shit, and I know what works on Twitter. I know what works on my various channels, and now I know how to play. Whereas if I hadn't written any of this down, I probably wouldn't even be at 10,000 followers, and I probably I wouldn't be halfway where I am now. So keep a plan, a journal. Same for trading. keep a trading journal, track every trade. It's the same idea. If you write stuff down and if you look back on it every week, you'll give yourself a general map on the things to do, the things not to do, what works and what doesn't.
So not only, you mentioned putting it out there and allowing your friends to kind of see these goals that you're trying to achieve, because, crypto Twitter is its own community, and I think it's a very tight-knit one. And so for you to put that out there, people are, more inclined to share and watch and view your stuff because they want to help you reach that goal. So one, putting it out there, and then two, you talk about this journal that you keep for yourself. I can't stress this enough. There are times on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, where, your posts will be more successful. Same with times when you go on and stream. So you've kept this log and have seen, what works best for you, when people are most engaged, and that has helped you build your following and helped you get closer to achieving this goal. I keep a log as well. I know a lot of people think that's kind of weird, and they don't, take it very seriously. They're just like, I post to post, but it really can help improve your numbers in ways that you haven't seen before.
100%. What do you like to log, if you don't mind me asking?
So I check out, times. I'm still very sporadic with my posting. I post a lot. Days of the week, weekends, Fridays are usually lower engagement due to everyone, just kind of being off and about on the weekends. So I'm trying to set my podcast up to be, Monday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday as well. So 3 a week, usually in the mornings. It's funny. I found some of my more degenerate posting does well at night. Some of the more some of the more inspirational stuff will do well in the morning. So it's just little things like that you kind of pick up along on the way. And then I use Anchor for my podcast, so that kind of takes care of all the analytics for me, where viewers are coming from, which different platforms. So that's right. Huge for me. I focus more on just the Twitter stuff. And it's been, extremely helpful in kind of creating this successful Twitter account that I have.
Yeah, and also helps that you're full-time now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm still getting used to it. It's very odd for me to, spend my whole day at home and try to figure out, how to find the motivation to do, certain things and kind of allocate my time.
100%, man.
It's very strange, but I'm loving it so far. I did not enjoy clocking in and, working my 9 to 5. So I'm hoping that this can stick around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But
as long as it keeps you interested and you're learning something, and you keep it, that's the thing. Like, I don't think I've had a full-time job for over 5 years now.
Wow.
And
congrats.
Thanks, man.
It doesn't work for some people, but congrats.
I appreciate that. But that's something I've always wanted to find ways to do it myself. Not because I don't like working for I don't really like working for other people, but I like working with people. And I love working for a leader who knows what he or she's doing. I don't think there are enough of them, which is why I figured I'd just do my own thing. And I'll tell us a little story. One morning I was waking up. At some point I worked at this supplement store. It was 7:30 in the morning. I'm groggy, walking outside, sunny day, but I'm thinking to myself, why the hell am I waking up for this schmuck, but I won't wake up for myself? And for me, that was a moment. I'm like, okay, I gotta do this myself. There's just from there, I found little ways and built on it. So, but the thing is, you gotta make a schedule, gotta keep it consistent. And I'm saying this more for the viewers, not for you. You know what to do, but
oh no, I need it as much as they do. This is pretty brand new to me, so I'm still getting it figured out. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, a schedule will get you halfway there, and some goals will get you the other half.
There we go. Yeah, I actually just bought a new calendar. I've got calendar.
Nice.
Sorry, I've got everyone.
What kind of calendar did you get, brother?
Yeah, and I've just got everyone that I have planning on coming on the podcast, who I'm trying to reach, what I'm trying to do with the podcast. So goals are all written down there, and then it kind of keeps my schedule nice and tight. You know, I know what I'm doing on this day for at least the full month. So that's been extremely helpful, and it's been nice.
That's good.
I'm a week into it, and I've been able to cross off a couple tiny goals that I've had, and it's really helping build momentum. And we talked about that earlier, and I just can't stress that enough.
It feels good accomplishing your goals.
Right? Yeah, no, I used to not be big on it, and I know a lot of people aren't. They think it's kind of a silly task, and they think that they can just have, everything going on in their head, but to actually write it down, visualize it, see it every single day, it really weighs on you when you don't.
Every day.
When you don't achieve those goals, it really weighs on you more than if it's just in the back of your mind and you push it off for another day.
And then a week, a month, a year, 5-10 years, then you're an old man and you're like, why did I do that?
What happened to my life?
Yeah, and I've seen it happen, and I just know that that's not how I want to live my life, and that's not how I choose to live it. So yeah, 100%.
I love that. So we kind of talked about, why you set your goals, how you can kind of achieve them. I like to ask all my guests this. What are you most excited for in the coming 12 months? I'm assuming that it's growing and becoming, the biggest crypto Twitch streamer. But is there anything else that you've got going on, or, is that, the main focus right now?
Or is that the focus? Well, I mean, obviously being the best trader I can possibly be is up there, and that's only through trading. But I think what's more is just being the biggest and best I can be. And numbers don't matter. They don't matter, but they do at the same time. When I make a goal for followers or whatever, sometimes I get the question or the comment like, followers doesn't matter, the number, yada yada yada. I mean, no, technically it doesn't. It doesn't make me any better or worse than I am. I am what I am. However, I know I can reach more people and I can help more people the more people I can reach. So to me, it's a numbers game. I'm going to be the biggest in Twitch. It's going to happen. And through that, I already have some little partnerships I'm working on. I can't talk about them yet, but
get me excited.
Yeah, man, like it's with some pretty well-renowned people, so it's going to be fun. I'm just looking to have fun, maybe help a few people out with some non-financial advice, and
always
help people avoid the mistakes that I've made, because I've made plenty. So if you guys watch my streams, look at my charts, whatever helps you, make sure to check it out, because the only agenda I have is to add value. Obviously I want to do well for myself financially, but I know I'll be able to do that by giving value and by being honest. And I want to be here in 5 years when the space blows up. I want to be at the forefront. So my objective is not as much Twitch as it is just being the biggest, the best, the guy,
the
people
guy.
like people like Cred, Don Out, I'm not comparing myself to them by any means, but these are the dudes that I look up to, and they're there because they've given selflessly for so long, and they're good traders, great traders. So I want to be at a point where people are like, okay, like I did good, and I'm here to stay, and people can trust me. And we'll see how long it takes, but yeah, that's what it is.
Awesome. So you touched on a couple things. I just want to recap on them because I really liked your perspective on it. You talked about it is and it isn't a numbers game. And I think a lot of people look at the negative side of it. They think, okay, you want these numbers so that you can monetize and you can, in some cases, inflate your ego.
Dump on your followers and
exactly, yeah. But
your ego, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of look at it on the positive side of things, and it's that you want to help educate and reach as many people as possible. So those numbers do matter. If you're streaming, putting out great content, and 10 people are seeing it, you're not making too much of a difference. Versus, if you've got 10,000 people watching it, you're spreading the knowledge that you have to 10,000 people. So I really appreciate that. And then you also mentioned that you want to add value first and then monetize later. I think that should be the goal for everybody. There are some people who say, there should be no monetization of content. And I kind of disagree with that. I think if you're providing content that people want and need, and you're providing value to them, there should be some monetization on the back end of that. And then lastly, you touched on, you talked about Cred, Donald, some of these guys who are just so well known in the space, and you kind of look up to them and follow them. And, with that question of what you're most excited for, I also wanted to ask, how you're going to achieve what you're most excited for. And so you brought up the fact that, those first two, and then on top of that, you're, following these people that you look up to, and you're kind of taking a page out of their book in a sense. And that's another 100%. Great tip on kind of achieving your goals is look at people who have achieved those goals, follow in their footsteps.
And do it better.
Yeah, exactly. Better, or, or your own twist, put your own twist on it. But
yeah, you
can follow in people's footsteps. The path has been paved. You don't have to do this completely on your own. So I think that's a wonderful tip on how, you're going to become one of the Creds or the Donalds of the space.
Even bigger, my friend.
There we go. I like that mentality. I think a lot of people would think that that's, a little bit cocky, but I think you have to have that mentality to get there or you never will.
100%. And it's funny, to add to what you said, I did a stream back in December, and I think I had Thoreau, I had Nye, Tunes, obviously, and a few other people on, and we're talking about our New Year's resolution goals and all that. And I said 50,000 followers on Twitter by next January or by next December 31st. And, no one laughed or snickered, but I could tell it was kind of stupid because I had 500.
Yeah.
But now I'm at over 20,000. It's right there.
You're on your way. Yeah. I mean? People will laugh at your long-term goals because they seem a little bit far-fetched in the moment, but you have that vision of, no, I'm going to be at 50,000 followers, and now you're almost there.
Yeah, the hardest is the first 5. So yeah, all that to say, I mean, don't be afraid to think big.
There we go. I really like that mentality. So before we wrap up, I've kind of just got, I try to do one overarching tip. A lot of people in this industry, they have, these grand plans and goals. And I know we've touched on a lot of things already. And we've kind of followed your process, which has given us a lot of insight into how to do this. But what's, one overarching tip that people can do, or what's one thing that they can do today, right now, to start working towards those long-term goals?
Okay. Take out a pen and paper. Write down the things that you like to do. Write down the things that you're good at, and write down the things that you could do in this space to utilize those skills or assets you have, and see if there's some type of juncture. And you can apply this to crypto or anything you want to do. Just try to be genuine with yourself and say, okay, Bagsy, I'm good at this, I'm bad at this. So why would I do the thing I'm bad at unless I really love it? So there has to be a healthy balance between love and what you're good at. So if you can kind of cross those together and find a way to offer that service to the masses, give before you take, and do that consistently, then I think you'll find your niche.
There we go. So, in my own words, it's, align your goals with what you're good at. You can't.
Oh, beautiful. I could have just said that.
No, I love your perspective on it. It's just like, that is how it came to me. And I think that, that is such a beautiful way to look at it, is to, you can't start working towards a goal if you're not very good at something. I mean, obviously you can develop your skills. It's just going to be a very uphill battle. This space moves very quickly, and a lot of people feel like they're getting left behind, so they kind of just jump into something and then try to figure it out. It takes a day, 2 days, a week to figure out what you're really good at, and then start building towards something based off of those skills.
Yeah, even 1 hour a week. If you're taking 1 hour a week to build your future, you're doing more than 90% of the people out there. And I know it's hard when you have a full-time job, 2 full-time jobs, a family, responsibilities, elderly parents who are going through shit. Like, I've been through some of this, so I know how we're just, being saying it is easier than doing it, but I promise you guys, if you guys take at least 1 or 2 hours a week and just really focus on you, then you'll find something eventually. And if you don't know what it is by spending that time, then just start trying new things. You can do 1 or 2 hours a week trying something new until you hone in on the thing that you love. And a lot of the people listening to this podcast are probably going to be in there. Actually, I don't know what your demographic is, but I assume it's going to be a mix of younger versus mid 30s. If you guys haven't discovered what that thing is that you love, just take a bit of time and try things out. Maybe you'll find it.
You know, when I was working full time, I struggled with it a lot. You know, I'd try to come home and I'd kind of, you know, put together questions for episodes, and then I'd record them, and it was tough, but I was still able to do it just putting in a few hours a week. Now, obviously, I'm full time. I can, you know, put as much effort and time into it as I want. But it really didn't take too much time to, you know, work towards building something great. And I really laid the foundation for what I've got now. So, excellent advice for everybody. We talked about a lot today. We talked about, you know, setting goals, how to achieve those goals, you know, finding out what those goals actually should be. So I really appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, Charles.
Thank you so much, brother. I really do, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate when guests come on. You guys are taking time out of your day to inform not only myself, or not only my listeners, but myself. And I've learned so much from the people I've had on, so I really appreciate it. I'm going to start.
I thank you for having me on, and for you guys and girls at home listening to this, if you're, you know, if any of this stuff moves you, or if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. My DMs are always open. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I always like to ask, you know, can people reach out to you? Where can they find you? So for anyone who's listening who wants to get a hold of Bagsy, I'm going to have his Twitter link. Anything else, Discord, anything else you want me to include?
Yeah, sure. Twitter,
YouTube,
Twitch, and Discord.
There we go.
Yeah, those would be the three main ones. And yeah, feel free to reach out. I might take a bit of time, but I will get back to you all.
Yeah, he's a busy man. He's working towards he's working towards becoming the greatest in the industry. So
it takes time and it takes concentrated effort. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, Charles. And I definitely want to have you back on my my stream podcast.
You know I'm down to come back on. I love coming on. The 2 times I've been on have been an absolute delight.
Yeah, great to hear, man.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode. And I just want to take a quick second to ask you a huge favor. If you found anything in the episode helpful, or it's been inspiring to you in any way, I just ask that you share it with your friends, family, anyone you know on social media, and hopefully we can help them out as well. Have a good one.